You know how some voices feel like a cozy blanket on a cold night? They don't just sing, they wrap around you, making everything feel a little softer, a little warmer. That was Ella Fitzgerald. For so many, her music wasn't just entertainment. It was comfort, it was joy, it was home. And maybe that's why her story means so much, because she didn't come from comfort herself. Ella was born in 1917 in Newport News, Virginia. Her childhood wasn't a fairy tale. Her father left early, and when she was still just a teenager, her mother passed away. The world became a hard place very quickly. She ended up in Harlem, living with relatives, but it wasn't long before she was on her own, struggling to survive. She got in trouble. She was sent to a reform school. She even spent nights sleeping on the streets. But here's the thing about Ella. No matter how rough the situation, she carried something inside her that nobody could take away. A spark. And that spark was about to change her life. It happened one night in 1934 at the Apollo Theater's famous Amateur Night. Ella stepped onto that stage nervous and unsure. She had planned to dance, but when she saw the act before her, two sisters who blew the crowd away with their dancing, she panicked. At the very last moment, she decided to sing instead. She chose Judy by Hoagy Carmichael, a song made famous by her idol Connie Boswell. The audience, who could be brutally honest on Amateur Night, fell silent. Then they started cheering. By the end, they were on their feet. Ella had just found her way out of the shadows. It wasn't long before bandleader Chick Webb heard about the shy young girl with the golden voice. He invited her to sing with his orchestra. At first, she was just the girl singer, doing ballads and light numbers. But Chick noticed something different about her. When she sang, she had this playfulness, an effortless way of bending the notes, of making even the simplest melody swing. Then came the moment that launched her into stardom, 1938's A Tisket, A Tasket. It was just a little nursery rhyme she'd reworked with a friend, but it became a phenomenon. Over 1 million copies sold, radio stations playing it constantly, people humming it in the streets. Suddenly, Ella Fitzgerald wasn't just a singer in Chick Webb's band, she was a star. But Ella wasn't one to coast on a hit. She wanted to grow, and she did night after night in smoky clubs and grand theaters, perfecting her craft. She became a master of scat singing, turning her voice into an instrument, improvising like a trumpet or saxophone, weaving new melodies right in the middle of a song. She didn't just sing the tune, she played with it. Off stage, Ella was known for her humility. She didn't seek the spotlight outside of her music. No wild scandals, no dramatic feuds. She let her art do the talking, and it spoke of joy, love, and hope. The 1950s brought one of her greatest achievements, the Songbook series. These weren't just albums, they were treasures. Each one focused on a different legendary composer: Cole Porter, George and Ira Gershwin, Duke Ellington, Rodgers and Hart. Ella didn't just sing their songs, she defined them for generations to come. If you want to understand the great American Songbook, you start with Ella Fitzgerald. Of course, life on the road in those years wasn't easy for a black woman. She faced racism constantly, being turned away from hotels, asked to use back doors, denied basic respect. But she handled it with quiet dignity. One famous story says that Marilyn Monroe, who adored Ella's voice, called the owner of Hollywood's Macambo nightclub and promised that if he booked Ella, she'd sit in the front row every single night. He agreed, and suddenly, Ella was playing one of the most prestigious rooms in the country. Through the years, trends in music came and went: bebop, rock and roll, disco, but Ella stayed true to herself. She adapted without ever losing that pure, crystal tone that made her instantly recognizable. Even as her health began to fail in her later years, she kept performing. Sometimes she would sing from a chair, but the voice, even softer, still carried that same warmth, that same joy. Ella passed away in 1996, leaving behind more than 200 albums, 14 Grammy Awards, and a legacy that still inspires singers all over the world. But for those who knew her, or even just loved her music, her true legacy wasn't just in the records or the awards. It was in the way she made people feel. Her songs could make you want to dance across the kitchen floor or close your eyes and just breathe. She had a way of turning any moment into something beautiful. And maybe that's why, decades later, her voice still feels like it's right there in the room with you. Warm, inviting, reminding you that no matter how dark the night, there's always a melody worth singing. Ella once said, "Just don't give up trying to do what you really want to do. Where there's love and inspiration, I don't think you can go wrong." That's her gift to us. The reminder that you don't need a perfect start, just the courage to keep going. And if you do, maybe, just maybe, you'll fill the world with as much beauty as she did.